Hey everybody, welcome to Too Much CGI. I'm Bill, here with Scott. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. Kind of in a weird mood. It's been a long week. I'm tired. A lot of changes.
What kind of changes? Like the change of life?
No. Changes at work. I don't know. I'm stuck between the idea that you can't move forward by looking backward, but at the same time, I'm also struggling with the idea that you can't forget where you came from to remember where you're going. So it's just weird. It's in a weird mindset.
Oh boy. Oh boy. We're gonna have some therapy after this. I'll help you off the cliff.
No cliff, no cliff at all. It's been good though. I've been doing well otherwise. Had a 3-day weekend. Used my birthday holiday. Did some grilling. Fed everybody lunch yesterday at work. It was a good time.
Well, remember what Dalton always says. It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
It'll get worse before it gets better.
A rando line from Roadhouse.
Is this your Roadhouse mentality?
I have a admission. We talk about Roadhouse on this show because of that funny thing going on with the new remake, the Jake Gyllenhaal remake.
Yeah.
I'd never seen the original until recently. AB and I sat down last weekend and watched it.
What? You were so shit talking. You were like, nobody wants this remake. Nobody wants it. This is fucking dumb. And now you never saw the original.
I'm so sure what people want when I haven't seen the original to even know if it was bad.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fraud.
Stolen valor. I'm a fake 80s fan. Holy shit that I love this movie. I don't know how I missed this one. This is like, just compare, go watch this now if you haven't seen it in a while. Just compare this movie to what is coming out today. I mean, we aren't that many decades apart from when this movie was made, the mid 80s.
Yeah.
But holy shit, does it represent the 80s and just the entire world in a way that is not the way it is today.
Right down to like the Bigfoot monster truck.
Oh God, that was the best. The best.
This here's my town, and I run it.
Oh, when who's the tall old guy? He was in
Sam Elliott.
I couldn't forget his name. He shows up. He just kind of shows up, and I didn't know he was in it. I missed the credit, I guess. And there's a young Sam Elliott. I'm like, holy fuck! How old is this movie? Sam Elliott has always been an old man. Here he is, not looking so old.
I was just gonna say, you said a young Sam Elliott. He still looked pretty fucking old to me.
He's the best too, man. I love his voice. Remember he was in the Bradley Cooper movie, A Star Is Born?
Yeah.
When he says to Bradley Cooper, he goes, "You gotta reach deep down into your soul." Like, the guy's got the deepest voice in all of Hollywood.
Oh, shit. Yeah, so you were a big fan, huh? The fighting scenes were very much like Bloodsport or something like that.
They were dance routines. They were barely fight choreography. It was all like ballet. It was so strange. And the whole time, the whole bar was fake as hell. Like, clearly it was a set. It was one of the ugliest bars I've ever seen. I was like, I would never go there. But then as I'm watching it, I'm like, I would love to go to this bar. A bar where a chain link fence is in front of the stage because everybody's throwing bottles and there's fights breaking out.
It just reminded me of Blues Brothers when they went to that. What kind of music do you play? Oh, we listen to all of it, country and Western. We are going to die.
Have you ever been to a show at all that had something like that? Because I have.
No, nothing like that. No.
When I was young and probably 14, 15, 16, we used to get into the all ages rock clubs near Philly. And they had fences up like that. So
really?
if you went to throw something at the band, you couldn't because there was a fence in the way.
That's so crazy. I never realized it was that prevalent of a problem. I always thought it was like a movie thing.
Only one time in my life have I ever actually been near a bar fight where the bar fight broke out so fast. And by the time I was able to kind of get near it, it dissolved.
Really? So no need for a bouncer or a cooler, whatever you want to call them?
No need for a Dalton. This one worked itself out before I got into it. But I was young. Now I'd go the opposite way, right? If I see a bar fight now, I'm like, woo! Feet don't fail me now. I'm out the door. But back then, I was looking for a fight. I would have loved to jump in and just have a little fun.
But you weren't going to instigate the fight. You just would have jumped in and been part of the melee.
Yeah, I mean, in my drunken days, I was probably a little bit of an instigator, but not much of a shit starter, but I'll jump in and swing a couple punches. I'll be that guy that just like all of a sudden starts punching, has no idea. I have no idea what the fight's about.
Wow.
Oh, they're fighting. Let me jump in and jab a couple people. That's my other favorite thing about this movie and those kind of movies. Whenever there's a bar fight, everybody just goes at it.
Just flips a table, just starts throwing punches. Don't even give a fuck. Yeah, it's so good.
It looks fun. It looks fun.
Shit, there's a bar here in town. Maybe you and I drank there before. Kind of down in a part of town where like the streets are smaller, not a lot of parking. They had a bouncer there, but the bouncer was really just a guy that checked IDs on the way in the door. It wasn't too often that fights broke out. And parking in this neighborhood was fucking terrible. But there's one spot right outside the door was always open, and nobody ever parked there. Well, one night I found out why, because a fight did break out, and the guy checking IDs just picked somebody up, threw him right out the fucking door, and landed right in this spot. And they were like, yeah, anybody that parks there, you're likely to have a guy thrown into the hoodie or the windshield of your car. So everybody just learned, like, the mythology went out that, like, nobody parks in that spot. It's not a yellow curb. It's not a fire hydrant. Just nobody parks there because you don't want to have to call Safe Light the next day to repair your fucking window.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I think I know what bar you're talking about. I never knew that story about it. Let's go every day.
The good thing, though, they have great wings. So you can get wings and a show and maybe a smashed windshield all in one trip.
When I lived in Philadelphia, do I want to tell this story? Yes, I do. When I lived in Philadelphia, because now we're in essentially Reading, Pennsylvania, about an hour from Philadelphia. So I never really lived in the heart of Philadelphia. Anyway, I was a suburban kid in Philadelphia. Suburban kids always heard about strip clubs. There's a strip club in our neighborhood. Do you ever drive by the strip club with your dad? You're in the back seat, you look, you see it, you go, see. Like that was the worst thing that happened in a suburban white neighborhood. There was a strip club, right? So strip clubs were in our consciousness. So I heard about this strip club in Reading called Al's Diamond Cabaret.
That was the strip club that we always drove by. It was like, oh, there's titties in there.
That was your, yeah.
Yeah, it was my strip club we would drive by, yeah.
So I would hear about this place, and I'm not sure why. I think there was rumors
It was
that
on Stern.
Yeah, Howard Stern used to talk about it.
Well, you know what happened? This is where LaToya Jackson started a riot.
That's my story. That's
Oh,
my
I'm
story.
sorry.
So LaToya Jackson had just done the Playboy shoot, and to promote it, she was going around dancing at strip clubs. Al's was one of them strip clubs, I guess, that has, dancers come through. It's like a touring
Part of the
dancer
circuit.
stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and I didn't live here then. So all of a sudden I hear about this fight that broke out. There was a riot at Al's because LaToya got on stage and she wouldn't take her top off. For whatever reason, she didn't do that. She wasn't really doing the same kind of show other touring showgirls were doing. And that set everybody off. There's a riot.
Yeah. They were all horned up and ready to go. They got nothing to look at.
So I know this story. It's legendary in Philadelphia. Reading is such a tough place. They have a riot at the strip club. Back in the day, that was the happiest place on earth. At least I thought as a kid. And there was a riot. I was like, this is the scariest town in the world.
And now you live here. Yeah.
So when I moved here, I meet Amy, my beautiful wife. And I say, I'm not really from here, but this Al's Diamond Cabaret, it's legendary where I come from. There was a riot. And she goes, oh, yeah, I know all about the riot. My brothers were there.
I knew they were there. Yeah.
She's like, our mutual buddy. Yeah, he was the guy in the picture on the cover of the newspaper.
That's fantastic. That is so fucking good. Yeah, that's wild. You know me, I'm not a strip club guy. But when I was in college, so my buddies, one was from upstate New York, the other was from Western Pennsylvania. When they learned I was from Reading, they said, oh, you're taking us to Reading. We're going to Al's. So we drove all the way into Al's, and then we got here, and it was like a Wednesday night, and they closed at like 9 o'clock. It was like the lamest fucking night ever. But we roll into town because this mythology of Al's is out there, and they're like, oh, we're going to this greatest strip club in the world. And then we roll up, and this is it? Like...
There's one in my neighborhood. I drive by. The parking lot's empty all the time. It seems to be, at least in Pennsylvania, at least in this area, strip clubs are passe.
Well, there's a shallow pool of talent in this area.
Well, switching gears from Reading and strip clubs, I want to show you another thing that I saw. So there's this guy, YouTuber named Minty, who you and I like. He's just Australian guy, does a show, and it's just pop culture stuff. And he shows me today something I never knew. Have you seen the movie Commando?
Yes.
Love Commando. Right? I'm all in this like super macho kick. I just watched Roadhouse.
What's with you're very much into macho 80s movies here, Bill. What's going on?
I don't know. It brought the cocksman out of me. I am ready to go take on the world. Ready to go watch Rambo next. So anyway, Minty had a show about Commando, and I was like, let's see what he's got to show us. So he's like picking apart the movie like he does on his show. And he gets to the one scene where Commando goes and he's holding the guy over the cliff. And it's the guy from the Warriors. Can the Warriors come out and play? So he's holding that guy over the cliff and he lets him go, right? When the guy falls, I don't remember this, but listen.
I lied.
Ooh la la. He says ooh la la.
You think it was just bad editing, or do you think the guy actually yelled that as an actor on set?
I think he yelled it.
Oh my God. Hey, tying back to last week, you know who played the female lead in Commando?
The female lead, the daughter was Alyssa Milano.
Ray Dawn Chong.
Female lead, right? Ray Dawn Chong,
Tommy Chong's daughter.
We talked about her with Still Smoke, and she was in that, and she's in Commando. What else is she in? I don't know her from anything else.
The Color Purple. Interview with the Vampire she was in. I don't recall her from that though. Yeah, not much, man.
Yeah, short run.
I mean, there's a lot of things here, but nothing you ever heard of. You know what, though? That's still not better than the old Wilhelm scream.
You don't think so?
No, I think that side to side, Wilhelm still wins it.
Let's see. Yeah,
Wilhelm.
maybe you're right.
It's short, it's sweet, it's just perfect. It's just compact. Great.
I don't know. Ooh la la, all day it's been in my head. Ooh la la! Ooh la la!
Oh, man.
All right, moving along on the agenda here. There is a new AI coming out that I want to tell you about. It's called Genie. Have you read about it?
No, not at all.
Google DeepMind's new generative model, and DeepMind is like a think tank that I guess Google has something or a lot to do with, and this is where a lot of the AI stuff has started. So Google DeepMind's new generative model makes Super Mario-like games from scratch. So essentially, it's watched hours and hours of video games, and it now knows how to make them. So you can draw a picture. You can draw the Mario character and some kind of background and kind of upload it, and it's going to take that and it's going to riff on it and expand that picture into a full playable side-scrolling game.
So we're talking like a 2D platformer video game.
Yep.
Okay.
Like Sonic, like Mario.
That's cool. Although you and I have both played some really bad 2D platformer video games.
Name one. I haven't found a bad one yet.
Bullshit.
Name one. Oh, shit. Where do I start?
There was Mega Man, Kid Icarus, and Mario. And that was it. The rest were clones of those three.
Yeah, and bad clones.
Remember Bad Dudes? Speaking of bad clones.
Yeah, but Bad Dudes was more like a side scroller. That wasn't a platformer.
I was thinking about that game the other day. I'm bad. I'm bad.
Wasn't Bad Dudes just like a knockoff of Double Dragon?
Yeah, and it was just one of the quarter eaters.
Yeah.
Like at least Double Dragon, you could get good at it.
Yeah.
And eventually beat it. This game, you were just bombarded by bad guys. You couldn't beat this game without a fistful of quarters, man.
Final Fight was like that too. Ninja Turtles. All of those side scrollers. They just, clones.
When I was a kid, this is a really random memory that this brought back. I used to draw video games and play them with my friends. They were just side scroller games because we were into Nintendo and all that. And this was where our imagination was. So I would draw these like maps and my friends would kind of take a pencil and walk through the maps, and I draw like the traps coming down on them, and then with my pencil, I'd kind of like, you have to get past my pencil. So stupid, but that was the kind of stuff that my friends and I like to do. Now we can do it. Now we can do it with AI.
Bill, I feel like this is less of drawing a video game, and you were just a dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons. You were a nerd.
I was a nerd.
Yeah,
for sure. Fuck you, ogre. He would add my number. I used to watch Revenge of the Nerds in fear. I was like, oh no.
Dude, I love that movie.
Somewhere there's an ogre looking for me.
It doesn't age well, but that movie's fantastic.
I don't know when this AI is going to come out. I mean, it's every day something new. There's a new thing called Sora that was just announced. I mean, this thing is AI video to the next level. You watch it, you can't tell it's fake.
Wow.
Like, we're getting incredibly good. Every day something new comes out. So luckily this ain't an AI show to scare everybody. People are really frightened about AI.
Oh, they really are. They really are. I mean, people are just afraid of technology in general, and I think a lot of it just comes back to them not being, they're just naive, and they believe anything that they read, and there are a lot of fear mongers out there that are trying to dissuade people from, I mean, this isn't a new thing. Technology has always been something that's been feared. A lot of our favorite movies were based on fear of technology. Look at T2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit, I mean, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was that was against medical technology.
It's alive!
And they're talking about when this thing is even more evolved, when it becomes general AI instead of this kind of version that we've talked about before, then it's going to be able to do things like cure diseases. Like, it's going to figure out how to cure diseases, they think.
Yeah, that's wild. I guess my question is, what are they doing with it practically right now? Because I feel everything that you're reading is companies doing something new and something innovative and just basically being like, oh, hey, look what we can do. But it's not actually being put into practice or use anywhere.
Well, it is. So some of these tech layoffs have been, we don't need you anymore. We figured out how to replace you with AI.
So this is
there's a
happening.
lot of stuff going. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on that you don't see yet. Seems like a lot of it is just entertainment.
Yeah. But I feel like they're also not coming out and saying, hey, look what we're doing. Like, it's happening kind of behind this. Like, they're saying, like, look what we can do. But when they're implementing it into things, I don't feel like they're coming out with, like, are they going to have movies that have, like, non-GMO stickers like they have on vegetables and fruits and shit like that? Like, non-AI. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're kind of slyly slipping it into the actual products without too much fanfare or pomp and circumstance. But meanwhile, every day on news feeds and stories are coming out saying, look what we can do.
Yeah. We got a new story. It's going to talk a little about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still in the early days.
Like, can you see there being backlash to people wanting to support the artists or support the actors, or we're not going to support AI produced art or entertainment? Or are we going to have parental advisory stickers for AI?
Well, we already are supposed to. So I just read this and I don't really have it quite down yet. It's either the FCC has said we should, must, or we're exploring whether we need to actually put a AI label. Like, this thing was 20% AI. Like, I have a guy I listen to and he's like, hey, everybody, welcome to the weekly podcast of marketing, whatever. I just want to let you know this is 10% AI written. I'm like, I don't really fucking care. I got to be honest. I don't care. If it's good information, I don't care if you pulled it out of your ass. Just give me good information. And that's what Google said too. They're like, we don't care if your AI content ranks well in Google, as long as it's the best content out there, we're cool with it.
Or if it's accurate, yeah. I mean, when this podcaster's saying that, or this person saying that, are they saying that they're basically using AI to reformat the story so they're just reading a synopsis of it, like kind of like what you do?
He's reading a script.
Okay.
We look at agenda bullets, but he's reading, and part of what he's reading was generated by AI.
Okay.
You can see his eyes darting across. He's trying that whole I don't want them to know I'm reading, but clearly I'm reading.
Not acting very well. I see.
But he's a marketer. Marketers are going to be the first to, do the right thing. Because marketers never do the wrong thing.
No, never. Very ethical people. Never misleading. Very honest.
Oh, shit!
I think a lot more stuff out there is this. Here's a great example. You heard about Sports Illustrated got in trouble.
No, I did not hear about that.
Trouble is controversy. There's controversy around Sports Illustrated because they were using AI content. They even had writers who were AI writers. And the AI output was so sloppy that people were able to read the new Sports Illustrated content and go, this is clearly an export from an AI tool. But Sports Illustrated isn't owned by the same people it used to be. Like once magazines went out of fashion, it's Sports Illustrated, Playboy, Maxim, all those magazines sold the name to somebody else.
Sure.
Who then took it and keeps on pretending they're that, but they run the company in different ways because there's no print magazines.
I was going to say, this is all e-mags now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So everyone's like reading this, like Sports Illustrated sold out. I'm like, man, they sold out years ago when they sold the company to whoever owns it now.
Like I do get stories in my newsfeed from Sports Illustrated about the Eagles or the Phillies or, whatever season it is. I just figure that they're all just derivative of other news feeds or stories that are out there. Like there's no Sports Illustrated reporters actually reporting breaking news or anything like that. ESPN has all that covered.
So here it says, most recently in 2019, Authentic Brands Group, ABG, purchased the magazine's intellectual property, and then it licensed the publishing rights to The Maven, a media company, which rebranded as Maven Inc. So this sounds like it's basically, we'll take the name and continue writing under that banner. And yeah, it's not the same company. Therefore, it's not the same leadership. Therefore, they don't have the same editorial guidelines, the same morality as, the old company. Whatever they want to be, they can be now because they're not the same Sports Illustrated.
Talk about stolen valor.
Oh, I got a good mailbag.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. All right. So this comes from somebody named Mumbo. His name is Mumbo. I like that. Mumbo. Subject, retro tech. Remember we talked about retro tech. All right. So Mumbo says, a bit late on this, but I didn't hear you guys talk about the Sony mini disc player. My brother had one in his stereo stack. I don't think there were a lot of artists releasing albums on the platform, so it became more of a mixtape maker. And then he says, also, old-fashioned punch cards for the win, because I think you said you still use a
I do have one.
The mini disc player. He's right. We didn't talk about. I barely remember that.
I really don't remember it much either.
I just looked it up. Mini disc is an erasable magneto. Why did I say magneto? I'm so stupid. Mini disc is the one word I should have right is magneto.
Sure.
In my nerd brain. Mini disc is an erasable magneto optical disc-based data storage format offering a capacity of 60, 74, and later 80 minutes of digitized audio. All right. Now I kind of remember. That's why you said mixtape. So this was one of the first formats that you could write to.
Wow, this must have been completely off my radar.
Now I'm kind of remembering. Yeah, I'm kind of remembering friends had mixtapes on this. Now that, damn it, Mumbo. Thank you. You're unlocking this dusty brain. But did you have to have a special player outside of that mini disc player? Like you couldn't play it on your regular CD player?
I don't remember any of this, dude. This was completely off my radar. I know some musicians that had maybe this when they were actually in the studio recording things.
Remember those spindles that you used to put into those old records?
Yeah.
See, records weren't really my generation. It was the generation right before. So I don't know a lot about it, but I remember those records had different sizes in the middle.
Yeah.
RPMs, all that. Like, I don't remember any of that.
You had a 33 or you had a 45. And the 45 was like a single and a 33 was a full album. But you had to set the speed of the record player at the right one. Otherwise, they all sounded like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah. So in a sense, this is kind of copying or inspired by
I
all
guess.
that nonsense.
I mean, I really don't remember the mini disc at all.
Well, I'm looking at pictures of it. It does exist. It'd be great if Mumbo just made it up.
Well, you just saw it, so it's impossible.
What if it got past me and then on the show I went and Googled it and I'm like, it doesn't exist. Just burn time. That would have been good on you, Mumbo.
What if Mumbo would have put out the fake website? Just so when you Google it, it looks like it is there and he made up the whole thing.
How far do you think he'd go? Imagine he had to make like actual products so he could take photos of them to put them on the fake website to fool us.
Just 3D printed the whole fake thing.
And then he'd have to take a whole bunch and put them on Amazon so that I could go, wait a minute, is this real? Let me go to Amazon. There it is.
Or he just asked AI to draw him what a mini disc would look like.
And I'm on Google. And clearly he's gotten to Google before we were able to record this because it's full of mini disc pictures that Mumbo put up there.
No, this is probably a real thing.
Shit. I liked where we were going. Thought we were onto something.
Conspiracy. Good mailbag. Thank you, Mumbo.
Thank you, Mumbo. You said you had a fuck uppery, huh?
I do. I actually have two. One's a fuck uppery, one's more of an apology. I'll start with the apology. I'm going to try to stop saying like. I listened to the last episode in playback, and I don't think there was a sentence where I didn't say the word like. And even my kid called me out on it. I was like, Jesus Christ, how did I not hear this during not only recording, I didn't hear it during the edit. I would have edited it out so it didn't sound like an asshole, but I didn't. Like was every other word. And I feel like I do it more when I'm just like riffing and ad-libbing, but bad news for this show. We don't have a script at all, so who knows how many times I'm going to fucking drop it in this one.
Oh, that's the difference between real broadcasters and us. Real broadcasters are taught to enunciate their words and speak with different tone and go up and down in pitch.
No.
Don't say like. Don't go, don't go, I stammer like crazy. I edit out a bunch of my stammers. Yeah, it's hard. Like doing professional broadcasting to be able to think on the fly and not stammer and go, it's hard.
I do notice we got better with the ums. We used to be but we got better with that. I don't edit out half as many ums as I used to.
We used to go, duh.
The fuck uppery, though. We were talking last week about the new casting for the Fantastic Four. We were talking about Eben Moss Bacharach, and you asked if I knew who that was, and I was like, I have no fucking idea who this guy is. I didn't see a
He's
photo
Bert's
or
son.
anything. What's that? Burt
Bert's son.
Bacharach's son?
Is that what you're going to tell us?
No. I do know who this guy is. He played Richie on The Bear. When I had 3 weeks ago, whenever I had the migraines and I was laid up, I watched both seasons of The Bear, and this guy was like a big player on that show. I saw him I only realized I knew who he was when I saw him doing the late night media circuit. He was on like maybe Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, one of those two. But I was like, oh shit, that's that guy we were talking about. I do know who this guy is.
Yeah, it's one of them shows where I hear people talking about it, so I know it's a big deal, but I wouldn't even know where to find it. It's like everybody's talking about The Crown. Oh, The Crown. I'm like, I don't know what The Crown. Like, I couldn't even tell you who's in The Crown.
You wouldn't give a shit about The Crown, Bill. The Crown was a Netflix thing all about the Queen of England over the course of 4 decades, I guess. The Bear is an FX show. And like I said last week, 85% of my entertainment is food-based. It's about a guy that is taking over his deceased brother's restaurant and just a whole fucking motley crew of people. And he's trying to become like a Michelin star restaurant from this old like fucking sandwich shop, and a lot of drug abuse, a lot of family drama history, a lot of people trying to repair relationships. It's a really good show. Definitely more of a drama than a comedy, but there is definitely some dark comedy elements to it as well. I really enjoyed it, but it's about a restaurant, and I do enjoy that, so it's kind of right in my wheelhouse.
I don't know why they thought that would be a good idea. Let's make a show about a restaurant, but yeah, people like it.
I don't know. Bradley Cooper got his start in Kitchen Confidential, which was basically a telling of Anthony Bourdain's story growing up in like high intensity pressure kitchens. Like there's definitely a weird, dramatic, stressful scene that goes on trying to feed people.
What are you talking about? Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper was in a movie called, or maybe it was a series called Kitchen Confidential.
Okay. I know he was in one where he was a head chef. And
that was it.
But it wasn't a series, it was a movie.
Then that was the movie. I think there was a
Okay.
series that came out afterwards, though. Yeah, there's drama there. There's a story to tell there. Bear's doing a good job. Jamie Lee Curtis shows up. It's pretty good.
What settings left for a show?
That's a great question, man. I don't know.
They made a movie once in a phone booth. Remember, I think it was called
Phone
Phone
Booth.
Booth.
Colin Farrell.
I mean, what's left?
I don't know. Like, is there a profession out there that they haven't made a movie about?
You ever make a movie about the guy that has to clean up the brains that are shot all over the ground when like there's a crime? That's got to be one of the dirtiest fucking jobs ever. I think about that once in a while. You know, life didn't go well when you're the guy that has to clean up crime scenes.
I guess that's not done by the forensics team. I guess that's done after the forensics team comes and does their research. Has there ever been a movie where the main character was a dog catcher and was not an antagonist, but the protagonist?
No, I don't think that movie would have any fans. I think everybody roots for the dogs to get away.
Yeah, that might be an answer. The dog catcher's always a bad guy.
I know I had that idea for the story. The guy who got pinned to the wall in Predator by Schwarzenegger. Like, I want to know his backstory. You know, I know there's that. We never really explore the extras. I guess Hollywood's done it all, man. We can't come up with anything.
I'm really drawing a blank here.
What about a story of a guy who gets hired to make sure the riffraff stops tearing the bar apart?
Roadhouse.
You mean like a bouncer?
Oh, shit, it's Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
What about a movie where the guy's daughter is taken away from him, but he's a retired like CIA agent, and he has to go beat the shit out of people and drop them off cliffs?
That's Commando. See, I'm not hearing ooh la la. In my headphones, I'm hearing like a stutter or a stammer. I'm not hearing ooh la la.
It's ooh la la. Ooh la la. So good.
All right. What else we got going on?
Well, did you say you had two fuck upperies?
No, one was the apology of me saying like too much, and the other one was the Eben Moss Bacharach. Apologies to him as well for not recognizing your name.
Well, we know he listens.
Good luck on the thing. Good luck on this iteration of the Fantastic Four, because historically, you're in for a doozy.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. When you get the script and you're like, you want me to play the Thing? All right, it puts me in Marvel, but I got to wear what for how long? How many days? Ugh.
I bet you it's going to be CGI.
Yeah, of course it will. What am I thinking? Year is this, Bill? It's 2024. Of course it's going to be CGI.
Michael Chiklis is going to watch this and think, God damn it, I spent how much time in the makeup chair?
Right. Man, he was he was terrible. Like, yeah, at the time, I guess that's kind of the best we could do. Put Michael Chiklis in a big rubber suit. But it was a terrible thing. Just awful.
Yeah, I didn't mind him as Ben Grimm, though. I thought he played an okay Ben Grimm for the technology.
Yeah. But the rubber suit just didn't work for me.
Well,
you feel like playing a game?
You got a game?
I have a game. And it is called The Most Insane Sequels You Won't Believe Exist.
Sequels. Okay.
Sequels. So I'm ripping this right out of a Collider article, and I'm going to give you everything on this page. One that I name is fake. The rest are real. I want to know how well you know movie sequels.
Oh, man. Sequels are tough because some of those sequels are just like direct to DVD. Remember when that used to come out, or straight to home release or straight to streaming? So I'm a little worried about what's going to happen here.
There's quite a few of those on here.
Oh, shit. All right, let's see what we got.
All right, we're going to start with the first one, American Psycho 2.
Okay, yes. This is real.
This is real, starring Mila Kunis and William Shatner.
The shat has hit the fan.
Have you seen this? I haven't seen this.
No, I heard of it, though. But this is one where, like, Mila Kunis plays the bad guy?
I don't know. Let me read it to you. Originally written under the title The Girl Who Wouldn't Die, this 2002 direct-to-DVD film was quickly changed. See, that's it. That's what you were. That's what you're afraid of. Direct-to-DVD films was quickly changed into an American Psycho sequel to capitalize on that movie's critical and commercial success. In it, Mila Kunis plays a serial murdering college student stalking her criminology professor, portrayed by William Shatner. And then it says, this paragraph is haunted. What the fuck?
What?
What's this? That was a hallucination written by AI. I guarantee you. That's the kind of thing that AI will do on you.
This is what got Sports Illustrated in trouble.
All of a sudden, just a random sentence. This paragraph is haunted. What?
God damn, now you're cursed. Are we cursed for having listened to that paragraph?
Dude, I have so many curses on me. They don't even, they pile up.
So this was a completely different movie called The Girl That Wouldn't Die, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because the girl was the killer. And it was changed to American Psycho 2 just to capitalize on success of Christian Bale's American Psycho.
Exactly. So I'm looking down this list and I don't see another example of that, but we talked about Meatballs 2. That's another example where they had this movie about a camp of kids and an alien lands, and it was kind of inspired by E.T., and they're like, what are we going to put this out as? How about the alien? No, how about we call it Meatballs 2 because we own the Meatballs license.
That's so stupid.
That's how this shit happens.
Ah, well.
All right, real or not? Kindergarten Cop 2.
Real.
Kindergarten Cop 2 was released directly to video. There you go. 26 years after the original because no theater could be
Wow.
convinced to screen it. It features 0 actors or characters from the original film, and replacing Schwarzenegger with Dolph Lundgren apparently seemed like a bulletproof strategy.
Wow. Yeah, I think not.
I see a lot of lists online that say Dolph Lundgren is one of the smartest people in Hollywood. I refuse to believe it.
That might be coming from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where they say that Dolph Lundgren is pound for pound the most underrated actor of all time.
No, it's coming from Dolph. I think Dolph's his own publicist. Just calling people,
be.
writing emails all day. Remember, I'm very smart.
I just can't think. I mean, I know him from 2 things. I know him from Rocky 4, and I know him from Skeletor from Masters of the Universe.
Well, He-Man. He's not Skeletor.
Oh, he played He-Man. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
I remember thinking Dolph Lundgren is starting to happen after I saw him show up in Universal Soldier, right? Wasn't that a Van Damme movie?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's in like every Van Damme movie. He's been in like 5 Van Damme movies.
I forgot about that. You're right. But his 2 biggest movies had to have been He-Man and Rocky 4, hands down, right?
I don't know. Kindergarten Cop 2. Everybody talks about it.
This didn't even scratch the surface, man.
All right. How about Backdraft 2? Remember the Fireman movie?
Yeah, no, you kidding me? Growing up in a house with my old man as a firefighter, you know how many times I saw Kurt Russell run through the front door holding that kid under his arm? You know how many times I hear my dad say, there's no way that guy was in a fire. His t-shirt's completely white. There's not even a smudge on it. Completely unstained. Yeah, I watched a lot of Backdraft.
Well, what about Backdraft 2?
Never knew there was a Backdraft 2.
You never knew there was a Backdraft 2? So was this the fake movie?
No, because I just found it on IMDb. So no, this is a real movie. I didn't mean to cheat. Wait a minute, though. Backdraft came out like 1990, 91. It says here Backdraft 2 came out in 2019. So this came out like a good, 30 years after the fact? It's another one of these kindergarten cop bullshits.
Yeah, what's that all about? Hey, we got this Backdraft license. We better make a movie quick or we're going to lose it. All right. The next one is Son of the Mask.
This is true. I've seen this.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's awful.
None of the original acters.
Jamie Kennedy, who's one of the most insufferable people out there, plays the main character in this.
Yeah, no Jim Carrey, no Cameron Diaz.
And The Mask had some of the greatest special effects. And part of the reason that worked is they knew how to use the special effects. They just kind of shocked you with them, right? Jim Carrey's face would explode into the old, Max Brooks or whatever kind of wolf. What was that old guy? Max Fleischer, rather. Max Brooks, I think that's a writer. I think that's Mel Brooks' kid, Max Brooks.
Wasn't the whole thing with The Mask 2, wasn't like the CGI dog, like the main character?
And the kid. Remember the kid? There was a little baby, CGI baby. Toddler, really.
Too much CGI.
He said it.
It stinks. Did they ever make a Donnie Darko sequel?
Ooh. Not that I've ever heard of.
Is this the fake movie, Scott?
I'd say yes, but I hesitate to because I don't know what the other movies are going to be. We'll put a maybe on this one.
Well, that would be wrong. It is real. S. Darko focuses on Samantha Darko, Donnie's younger sister from the first film. Presumably, this decision was made because Donnie is killed in the original film, and by 2009, Gyllenhaal had risen beyond the reach of Fox Home Video's budget. The sequel tries to explore the same trippy cosmic forces like time travel and multiverses, but fails in a spectacular Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows sort of way. I wonder if that's on the list. I never saw the first Donnie Darko. I tried to get into it, and I was like, I don't like it.
It's interesting.
Yeah?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I should give that another shot. All right, how about this one? Rocky Horror Picture Show 2, Shock Treatment.
I'm going to say yeah, just because there was such a cult following. I've never seen it.
Shock Treatment includes several characters from Rocky Horror played by entirely different actors, which is an immediate red flag. The plot centers around an evil television studio run by a villainous fast food magnate that forces the entire town to participate in game shows. Unfortunately, they were not able to force the audiences to buy a ticket and watch this movie. Yeah, I've always heard about this one, the sequel, Shock Treatment.
Wow. And there was actually tickets to buy, so this wasn't direct to home like these other ones were. This was like a movie released in a theater.
Yeah, it doesn't say, but based on the time it came out, yeah, I'm sure they tried. Probably a midnight movie. They probably tried to like push it into those theaters again.
Sure.
To see if they could get it to have the same magic as Rocky Horror.
Yeah, late night double feature.
How about Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah, I watched this piece of shit. Are you talking Dumb and Dumberer? Or are you talking Dumb and Dumber 2?
Ooh, you're right. This is saying Dumb and Dumberer. I forgot there was a Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah, it was bad.
I can't remember it at all. Didn't stick with me. Neither did this. I remember this coming out, and I went, I don't give a shit.
I watched all three of them.
Really?
The original, the remake, and the sequel. Yeah, I mean, at least Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels showed up for the sequel. Like that second one that they tried to put out, Dumb and Dumberer, was it?
Yeah.
That was awful.
Well, for the Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd, it says the studios were eager for a sequel, but the only problem was nobody involved in the original was interested. Thus was born Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd, a 2003 prequel to the original film that drops the two main characters in high school, getting around the need to cast Carrey or Daniels. This also got around the problem of making anyone actually want to see it. Zinger!
Hey-oh!
Hey-oh! Oh, shit. How about this one? Ace Ventura Jr., Pet Detective.
Yes.
Yes. The carryless Ace Ventura Jr. Pet Detective was unleashed on the home video and cable TV markets in 2007. It follows the adventures of Ace Ventura's son, Ace Ventura Jr. All right. Clever. As he tries to prove his mom didn't steal a panda.
Remember there was the Ace Ventura animated series?
I do. It was like a Saturday morning show.
Yeah. I don't think it was voiced by Jim Carrey, though. Could be wrong.
That's another thing that if you didn't say that, I would have never remembered it.
There was a Mask cartoon, too. Like, they really took all Jim Carrey's movies and made them into cartoons. There was a Dumb and Dumber cartoon.
The Man on the Moon cartoon was awesome.
Oh, man. Too soon.
How about Deep Blue Sea 2?
Yeah, they make sequels. There's probably 4 of those.
I never saw any of them.
Samuel L. Jackson got bit by a shark.
They ate me! A fucking shark ate me!
It's like they made Jaws. They can't make anything else.
Yeah, I feel like there was Jaws, and then there was Deep Blue Sea, and now there's the Meg. Sharknado was in there. Like, there's always like the shark movie du jour.
That's weird. It's weird that people love. I love the Sharknadoes, but I didn't see anything else. I didn't see Mega Shark or any of that shit. The shark joke goes only so far.
Yeah.
All right. How about Splash 2? Splash, comma, TOO. Splash 2.
Sure. Was Daryl Hannah in it? Probably not.
The film's massive commercial and critical success, meaning Splash 1, meant a sequel was in the cards, but there was one problem. The movie ends with Hank's character giving up life on land forever to go live in the ocean with the merfolk. The merfolk.
The merfolk?
The Disney Channel original movie Splash 2 cleverly gets around this fact by completely ignoring it and placing Alan right back on dry land. Hanks, Hannah, Candy, and Levy, Eugene Levy. Yep.
Levy.
Okay. Didn't bother to reprise their roles for this dismal sequel because Why would they? All right. Zing, 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 zing.
Hey,
Hey, Collider, you're so rough. So here's something stupid. I remember being a kid. I remember going around in Florida, MGM Studios, back when it was called MGM Studios. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Before it was called Hollywood or whatever they call it now.
I still call it MGM Studios.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I remember going around on some kind of tour bus, and they said, over there, they're filming the sequel to Splash. And I was so mesmerized. I was like, we got to get back there. I want to see what a movie set looks like.
It was the Backlot Studio Tour. Yeah. First time I went on it, do you know what they were filming?
What?
Passenger 57.
Really?
Wesley Snipes. Yeah.
I didn't think they ever filmed anything there. I thought this was the one and only time they did it.
No, it was a closed set, so you couldn't see anything. But they're like, yeah, back here they're filming Passenger 57, which I didn't even think I knew was an MGM film.
No. I wonder what else they filmed there.
The Backlot Studios tour, they would take you through the streets of America where the Golden Girls house was and all that kind of shit. But it was a real working movie studio for a brief period.
Yeah.
Now it's all Galaxy's Edge.
Is that the one where at the end they took you through this area where all of a sudden, things explode and it's about to flood and the water comes rushing in and oops, at the last minute it goes into a moat.
Yep.
Well, I did see Splash 2 recently. I said, you know what? It popped into my head. I don't know how or why, but I went, I wonder if I ever saw that movie. Let me look at the trailer. And I'm watching the trailer and I'm like, this looks like the worst movie. This is a movie that's shot and filmed so poorly that it looks like a Hallmark movie. Like it's just, you know, when you would look at like something that's so amateur compared to, you know, something on the theater, this has that look. So when it just said that it played on the Disney Channel, that makes sense. I thought this came, I remember seeing this in VHS. So I know they at least released it on VHS as a standalone movie, but it's so bad, man. It is so bad. Unfunny. Nothing works. The people playing the original characters are terrible at it. It's just terrible.
Wow. I mean, if it's filmed that poorly, I'm surprised there's not a tram car in the background.
Oh, that's so funny if you saw like a bunch of tourists go by. How about Teen Wolf 2?
Yes. Jason Bateman.
I remember going to see this. I loved Teen Wolf, so I was like, let's see it. And I remember walking out going, boy, that was awful. What a ripoff. Yeah, you got it. Teen Wolf was a big hit, and thanks to releasing the same year as Back to the Future, it helped turn Fox into a movie star. That's right. They did both come out at the same time.
Yep.
That's cool. So when the studio returned to the Teenage Wolf, well, for Teen Wolf 2, they cleverly recast the titular role with the then teen heartthrob Jason Bateman as Scott's cousin Todd. This werewolf was really good at boxing, but nobody cared, right? So they switched basketball to boxing. I remember the father, Michael J. Fox's dad, who looks like me with the big, when he turned into a werewolf, he turns into a big gray poof.
Yep.
That's what I look like right now, everybody.
Kind of. Now that you say it, yeah.
I'm the dad from Teen Wolf. I remember he made a cameo. I don't remember why. That's all I remember about this movie.
He car surfing this one? I can't remember that.
I feel like he sang. Wasn't there like a Ferris Bueller singing moment?
Yeah. That kind of does sound familiar.
What was Jason Bateman a heartthrob for at that time?
I don't know.
I know he had that show with Valerie. Remember Valerie Hartman or something? And then she died, and then they put Sandy Duncan in. Valerie Harper.
Yeah.
What was that
Valerie
called?
Harper.
Yeah, it was just called Valerie, and then she died, and then they called it the Hogan Family. So maybe he was in that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
you
what
might
he got.
be right. You might be right.
Listen, one thing I know, Jason Bateman. You never met a bigger Jason Bateman fan than this guy. How about Return to Oz?
Yeah, this is real.
I remember it being really spooky. I didn't like it.
It was freaky, man.
Yeah. Looking at the picture here, that is the worst. They phoned that Tin Man in. I think they made that like the day of shooting. That is the worst looking Tin Man I've ever seen. But the Scarecrow looks especially gross. Is that a pumpkin-headed monster?
Pumpkin-headed monster, yes.
And the lion, the little girl, that's Veruza Balk. Wow, she's little kid. She's riding on the lion.
I also feel like the Tin Man was more like a clock man. Like he was more of a clock than just a Tin Man. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
They just have, it's just a cylinder looking face. It wasn't even like a human face like the other one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember it being on. I remember going, I'm going to skip it. How about Carrie 2?
Yes.
The Rage.
It wasn't Sissy Spacek.
No.
It was a lot later, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this was the late or 2000s. Let me read it. Aiming to capitalize on the late 90s revitalization of the teen slasher genre, The Rage, Carrie 2 exploded into theaters in 1999, 23 years after the original. Carrie's improbable half-sister Rachel, that's convenient, has the same power, and she uses it to kill a whole new crop of obnoxious teenagers, including one of the kids from Home Improvement. It's not a good movie, they say. Not a good movie. What about The Jerk, TOO? The Jerk 2.
Like Steve Martin's The Jerk.
Yeah.
No.
Think this is the fake one? You think you got me?
I would say yeah, but why would you even pick The Jerk out of all the movies you could make up? I'm going to say, yeah, this is real just because you wouldn't make up The Jerk.
You're right again, sir. The Jerk 2 was a made-for-television movie that premiered in 1984, starring Mark Blankfield. I stammered his name. I was so...
Who?
I was so amazed to see it. I went, Mark Blankfield in the title role. And I'm looking at this guy. I don't recognize him at all.
Must have had a real strong career after this one.
It says, you may have noticed that Blankfield is not Steve Martin. Yeah.
No shit.
Kind of noticed. The rest of the world and presumably the universe also noticed and quickly forgot this baffling follow-up ever existed. Zing. Here's one called Look What Happened to Rosemary's Baby.
I feel like this would be like a Wayans Brothers comedy, like,
Don't drink juice in the hood.
Don't drink juice in the hood. Well, yeah, exactly.
Making a sequel to one of the most famous horror movies of all time is a daunting task. Look no further than Jaws 2, but ABC was up for the challenge. Look What's Happened to Rosemary's Baby premiered on the network in 1976, featuring virtually no one involved with the iconic original. We actually feel sorry for any company that purchased commercials during this atrocity.
Oh, man.
1976. That was a year after I was born.
Fuck.
I wonder if it was on and I was just laying there in the cradle.
It's like, look who's talking. Look who's talking now. Like, it's just a bad title. Look what's happened to Rosemary's Baby.
How about The Birds 2?
Yes.
I never heard of this one. 1994's The Birds 2 Land's End was a made-for-TV error in judgment that essentially regurgitates the plot of the first film, with a little bit of Jaws thrown in by way of a mayor that is somehow able to deny that birds are attacking people. Tippi Hedren, the star of the classic original, makes an appearance as a completely different character. Stupid.
I'm surprised she came back at all.
This film is a cursed object, it says.
Or is that just this paragraph is cursed?
Yeah, hey, I really went off the deep end here. Look at this. Roadhouse 2? What?
Yeah, well, yeah, clearly.
Roadhouse.
I didn't know about this. The 2006 direct-to-video sequel begins by informing us that Dalton was killed many years ago by Wild Bill, played by Jake Busey. And now Dalton's son Shane, Jonathan Schaech, must exact revenge. Since we know from the previous film that Dalton cannot be killed, let alone by Jake Busey, we immediately know this sequel is nonsense and there's no reason to ever watch it. I didn't know anything about this.
Oh, see, I thought this was like tying in the new one, but the new one's a reboot, not a sequel.
Right.
I didn't know about this one either.
Yeah. How about Dirty Dancing Havana Nights?
This is true, yes.
What the hell?
Years after the original Dirty Dancing came out.
It says Havana Nights is actually a prequel to the original, taking place in Cuba on the eve of the Cuban Revolution in 1958. Talk about a setting that hasn't been done yet. There they go. They figured it out. They figured out one that hadn't been done. It's essentially the same story, only this time the entitled teenage girl falls in love with a Cuban waiter, and their passion can only be expressed via dance. I know the feeling. Oh, I love that melody. That means I'm watching Police Academy.
I was going to say, I don't know why the first thing that came to mind was the Blue Oyster music from Police Academy.
Here's a movie called 2010, The Year We Make Contact, as a sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh.
Do you believe it's real?
Well, yeah, because you didn't make it up because you sounded very confused as you read it. So either you're a very good actor or you're just reading an article.
I'm terrible at reading. When Arthur C. Clarke published 2010 Odyssey 2, the sequel to his original 2001 novel, he called Kubrick and told him not to allow Hollywood to make it into a film. Nobody listened to them, and 2010, The Year We Made Contact, was made anyway. The movie resurrects HAL 9000 and places it and a bunch of alien monoliths in the center of the Cold War. It's like Watchmen, only with Helen Mirren and Roy Scheider.
Wow.
And they are in space. I don't think I knew about this.
I never heard of this ever.
Oh, here's a forgotten one. All right. I know you're going to know this one's real, so not playing the game on this one. Caddyshack 2. Do you remember that stinker? God,
I do.
That's so embarrassing.
Dude,
that
this
movie.
was with, what was the dude's name?
Dan Aykroyd.
Well, Dan Aykroyd was in it. He ran a food truck.
I remember him wearing like military garb.
He did like a terrible voice too. He was like, "Hello, Mrs. So-and-so." Like he was supposed to be playing basically the role of a different character, but same role that Bill Murray played in the first one. And it was just so bad. The guy that played the judge didn't come back. Nobody from the original came back.
Chevy Chase was there.
Oh, yeah. He came back as Ty. You're right. Rodney Dangerfield was gone, and they got Jackie, what's his name? Jackie Gleason?
Oh, that's right. Jackie Gleason. Right.
Yeah.
Because he was everybody's favorite comic.
Oh, it was so bad.
Who was a Jackie Gleason fan? Did you ever know one?
No.
Somebody must have liked him.
You know, thinking back, I may have seen Caddyshack 2 before I saw Caddyshack 1.
Based on how we grew up and, you know, we would go to the TV and watch the cable channels, I believe that.
Yeah.
There's a few movies, and I have to think about them. It's not coming to me right now, but there's a few movies where I know the sequel, like the shitty sequel, and like it more than the first movie, just because I saw it first.
Oh, you know what? This brings up another fuck up I had last episode. I said that Cheech Marin was in Ghostbusters. Cheech Marin was in Ghostbusters 2 when the Titanic comes to the dock.
Well, better late than never.
That wasn't Ghostbusters 1.
That's right. I do remember you saying that. I believed you. I was like, oh, yeah, he was in that. I don't remember him in that. Anyway, rounding out Caddyshack 2, original cast member Bill Murray was uninterested in returning and wound up suing the production for reusing the gopher design from the original film. Why would he sue? Which Murray, here's the answer. Yeah, maybe I should just keep reading. Which Murray had helped create. Screenwriter and director Harold Ramis tried unsuccessfully to get his name removed from the project after star Rodney Dangerfield walked out of the movie. The fact that virtually every key player from the original film tried to distance themselves from this sequel like a tanker truck explosion should explain why you probably had no idea it even existed.
Not me, man. I suffered through it.
Blues Brothers 2000?
Yes. John Goodman.
This stunk. This stunk. Despite the fact that part of what made the original film so memorable was the mercurial presence of Belushi, who died in 1982, Landis and Aykroyd decided to make a sequel in 1998. Blues Brothers 2000 effectively replaces Belushi with John Goodman, which isn't a bad thing per se, because Goodman makes everything better. But the film was 2 decades too late and failed to engage audiences who decided they'd rather see the Titanic and Good Will Hunting a second time instead.
It's funny that that's what it came out against.
Yeah, I don't even think I saw this. Although I do remember, was Jim Belushi in this? Was he dancing at one point?
Yes, he was in there.
Yeah.
Because they had a whole bunch of Blues Brothers, like from different parts of the country, I believe. It wasn't just like Elwood and I forget the other guy's name.
Elwood, another guy.
I'm so bad with names tonight. It's not even funny.
Called Getting Old. All right, I'm going to speed through this. It looks like we are really running up on time here, so I'm just going to go a little faster. Another 9.5 weeks.
Sure.
Yep, they did another. Kim Basinger was in that. I remember that movie was always streaming on HBO or one of those things. I was like, yeah, 9.5 weeks. So Basinger didn't return for another 9.5 weeks because why on earth would she? The film follows Rourke's character John once again on the prowl for vulnerable women. The movie was originally released as Love in Paris before it was changed to the much more obviously a sequel title, which did nothing to convince people to watch it. All right, how about Basic Instinct 2? Did they make a Basic Instinct 2 and Sharon Stone came back? Is that true?
Sharon Stone, I don't think she did come back.
Yes, 2006's Basic Instinct 2 saw Stone reprise her role as Catherine Charnell, but absolutely no one was interested. The film opened to lackluster reviews and a dismal box office and is forever doomed to the stack of questions you will forever get wrong on trivia night.
Michael Douglas didn't come back though, right?
It didn't look like it.
Okay.
Well, at this point, Sharon Stone was a big deal. So she was probably like, you only need me.
That could be.
Clearly, she wasn't enough because nobody remembers it. Well, back then, you know what? That was the time where people went to see movies because of who was in it.
That's very true.
So I'm surprised that didn't do well. How about The Two Jakes? You ever heard of that?
No.
It's a sequel to Chinatown. Screenwriter Robert Towne actually intended for Chinatown to be the first film in a trilogy about Jake Gittes. He and Nicholson teamed up to make the 1990 sequel, The Two Jakes, which Nicholson also directed. However, as you may have guessed by its inclusion on this list, nobody seemed to care about the continuing adventures of Jake Gittes, so a third movie never happened.
I'd never even heard of this.
All right, I'm going to give you two more. Marley and Me, The Puppy Years.
Yeah, this was like a direct-to-TV thing.
You got it. Direct-to-video sequel that focuses entirely on Marley's life as a puppy. I've never seen this. This is like about dying dogs. Yeah.
Or the first one killed Marley, so they couldn't have him back in the second one. This was Owen Wilson, right?
Wow.
I don't know, man. I don't know much about this. I remember Jennifer Aniston was in one, but
yeah,
I don't know. Anytime there's a movie with dogs in it, I know a dog is going to die and I'm going to cry. So I stay far away from dog movies.
It's true.
And then the last one here, well, there's a bonus one. Mean Girls 2.
Yes.
Written by Tina Fey, 2004's Mean Girls was a surprise hit. Obviously, once you've entered stage musical adaptation territory, you know Hollywood has already attempted a sequel. I didn't know they made a stage musical.
This came out.
With the 2011 made-for-TV movie Mean Girls 2 featuring Tim Meadows and absolutely nobody else involved with the original, most people will go to their entire lives without ever knowing this film exists. And then the last one here, Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure. Is this one real?
Island Adventure. Yeah, I brought this up. This was terrible. Direct-to-DVD. Fucking awful.
It's not a vacation sequel per se, but rather a spin-off focusing on Cousin Eddie, which is Randy Quaid. I guess he's not in movies anymore.
He's crazy.
Clark's mentally deficient brother-in-law. He's a mentally deficient actor. Eddie is funny in small doses, but he's essentially just a walking redneck joke, so making him the central character of an entire film was a bold choice. It was also a made-for-TV movie, so it is entirely possible it has only ever been watched by accident. There's a good singer. I like that one. All right, that's a closer. So which one was the fake one?
I feel like you lied to me and there was no fake one.
I lied.
Because all the ones I thought would have been fake, you were like, no, that's real. That's real. I feel like they were all real.
You got it. I tried to chump you. They were all real. But I'll tell you, half of them I wasn't even aware of. Some of these were real stinkers.
That's bad.
All right, let's keep this train rolling. You want to get into the news?
Yeah, man.
I've got a bunch of news stories today, so why don't we try something a little different? Instead of spending too much time on any one, let's just cruise through and just give me your thoughts on what I'm reading to you. We have a dead celebrity, unfortunately. Did you hear about Richard Lewis dying?
Lewis. Damn.
He was funny. I liked him. I haven't seen him in forever, but he is a face that when I heard about it, I went, oh shit, I wish I didn't forget about him. He's so good. I hate being that guy that remembers people only when they die.
No, I've been watching him for a little bit now. He's been on Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David.
Oh, really?
Playing himself. Yeah, he's been on the past few seasons. He's really good.
Good. So he's been working. Okay.
He's been working, yeah. And him and Larry David are really good friends in real life. They grew up together.
This is one of those celebrities that I've always heard about being awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
His death was confirmed by his publicist, Jeff Abraham. Lewis had been living with Parkinson's disease, a diagnosis he revealed in April 2023. Oh, well, man. Fucking age is a bitch, huh?
Yep.
Thought this was interesting. So we're talking about James Gunn a lot, right? He's got Superman Legacy. It says here the new Superman and his Marvel copycat both start filming this week.
Who's Superman's Marvel copycat?
That's what I wanted to see if you knew.
Marvel's version of Superman. Captain America?
Nope.
Nope.
All right. I give up.
While Superman makes his mark on the DCU with Superman Legacy, the MCU's Sentry will reportedly be poised to do the same in Thunderbolts.
Who in the hell is that?
You don't know Sentry?
No.
So he's a yellow-suited, blonde-haired guy. He's like their version of Superman. He can do everything Superman does. I don't know much about him. Sometimes he's good. Sometimes he's like misunderstood. Sometimes he's bad. I don't really know who this guy is. But there you go. We're going to have a Superman type in one of these upcoming Marvel movies, which I always say, we got to bring these things back to the ground. They're getting way too big. Way too big. As soon as they brought Captain Marvel in, like everything stopped being street level and started to be absolutely impossible stuff. So I was hoping that with the future of MCU, we get back to like, Spider-Man swinging in a city, Echo fighting in Oklahoma. Maybe nobody's traveling through multiverses. But if we have a Superman type coming back to the MCU, we're going to have that same problem we had with Captain Marvel. It's like, what adventure out there in the MCU couldn't be solved immediately by Captain Marvel?
Yeah. Are you really going to win me back with a superhero knockoff I never heard of? Probably not.
And the picture here of the Thunderbolts, right? Do you know the story of the Thunderbolts?
Yeah, they were put together by the colonel from the general from the Incredible Hulk.
General Ross, Thunderbolt Ross, right?
Ross. That's it. Yeah.
So the actor, William Hurt, who played him, has died. You know who they have replacing William Hurt?
No.
You switched to samples.
No,
Good old Harrison
Ford.
Ford.
I did hear he was coming to the MCU. That's right.
So Thunderbolt Ross in the comics becomes the Red Hulk.
Yes.
We just talked about Mark Ruffalo saying, I doubt I'll be back. Like, you're not going to see me again. I'm expensive when I appear on screen. So you think they'll do the Red Hulk? Because he'll be just as expensive.
Or remember how they said they used him sparingly because of the CGI and the money?
Mm-hmm.
I could see them turning him to Red Hulk at the end of the movie to tease what's upcoming later on.
Yeah, actually, that could be something they're thinking. We'll just make his eye turn red, and that'll be the wink, and everyone will be so happy. Woo-hoo.
Oh, that'll tickle their ass with a feather.
Woo, la la. The release date for this is May 2nd, 2025. And I'm looking at the picture here of who's in it. I see the character Ghost from Ant-Man 2, which I didn't care that much about that character. The big Russian guy, David Harbour, I think, plays him. He was in Black Widow.
He played in Black Widow, yeah.
They got the other Black Widow here.
Oh,
forget her name.
Yeah, her sister.
Yeah. And then it's got Sebastian Stan. I mean, are people excited to see
the Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier again? I'm not. And then last year is that new character that's kind of been popping up, played by the woman Elaine from Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She was the one she was like the handler for U.S. Soldier, or U.S. Agent. He was like the knockoff Captain America in Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yep. So she's been kind of popping into shows recruiting a team. This is the team I guess she's recruiting.
So she's like the Thunderbolts Nick Fury?
I guess. But she was looking evil. It was looking like she was up to no good. So I don't know.
Yeah, I thought she was like a SHIELD or I thought she was like a Hydra agent or something like that.
Well, we were just talking about Superman Legacy. What, did you know it? Superman Legacy gets a title change. Breaking news, February 29th. That's today, Scott. This day doesn't even exist, technically.
It's true. This is just spare time.
Superman Legacy gets a title change. Guess what they're naming the movie now, Scott?
Superman Leap Year.
They weren't that clever. It's called Superman.
Fucking dumb.
Yep. Overjoyed to be announcing the start of principal photography on Superman today, February 29th, which just so happens to be coincidentally and unplanned Superman's birthday, Gunn wrote on Instagram this afternoon. When I finished the first draft of the script, I called the film Superman Legacy. By the time I locked the final draft, it was clear the title was Superman. Making our way to your July 2025.
Oh, you're so clever. Good for you.
Good for you.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, good for
Here's
you.
a quick story I pulled. This isn't really, I don't know. We're not Wendy Williams fans, I don't think. But did you hear what's going on with her?
Yeah, she has the same thing as Bruce Willis.
So evidently, the Hollywood Reporter says they're making a documentary about her, and it's one of those documentaries where they found out there's something wrong here. So Wendy Williams documentary producers say, if we'd known she had dementia, no one would have rolled the camera. So, yep, it's one of those kind of situations. Like, we heard that Bruce Willis may have taken roles and had acted in some of these really shitty final movies, but it wasn't really a coherent Bruce Willis. So it sounds like that might be happening to Wendy Williams now. Do you remember they had that documentary on the magician? What's his name? Fuck, who is that guy?
David Blaine?
No, he's a comedy guy. He was in Vegas.
The Amazing Jonathan?
The Amazing Jonathan. Did we ever talk about his documentary?
No.
Talk about a guy going off the deep edge and somebody recording it. He's passed away now, but just, you got to find it and watch it. This guy basically commissioned 2 documentary companies to make a documentary on him at the same time. And at one point, you actually see the one documentary company bump into the other one. Like, what are you doing here? Like, it's just weird. And he comes off looking absolutely bizarre and crazy. Like, watching this thing, I'm like,
cokehead, right?
Yeah. I remember drugs being a heavy part of this. So he might have been fucked up the entire time he was filming his documentary, because he is a strange dude, man.
When I was in high school, I saw his very first comedy special. This wasn't like nowadays where everybody and their fucking brother has a Netflix comedy special. This was a big deal to have a comedy special. And I remember seeing him on Comedy Central, and I thought he was the funniest guy ever.
I did too. I love anything with magic and jokes.
Yeah. Penn and Teller were fantastic.
Yeah. Hell, I'll even take props. You admit it. I'm going to tell everybody I liked Carrot Top. I thought Carrot Top was amusing. And Gallagher. I liked him too.
Gallagher 2, you say?
I like Gallagher 1 and 2. Smashing watermelons. That's right up my alley.
Oh, fuck.
I guarantee people were watching Gallagher smash watermelons and somebody was going, who the fuck likes this shit? Who finds it? Me. That was me. This made me laugh. This is from Guitar World magazine. Bass players are always the last people to find out. Rage Against the Machine bassist Tim Comerford doesn't know if the band is over or not. So the drummers come out and said, hey, everybody, just want to let you know Rage Against the Machine is over. And this guy goes, oh, nobody told me.
Do you think this is all stemming from Tom Morello taking the inauguration for Rage in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I forgot about that. Right? Because he took that
could have been the
award
final nail.
And the band didn't want him to do it. Well, clearly the bass player didn't have a say. He probably didn't even know what was going on.
Wait, we're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh, cracks me up. Oh, I didn't know. This is the idiot that climbed that big pole, remember, during the MTV Awards?
Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
Those things were crazy. You want to have some fun, go back on YouTube and rewatch some of the old, I think it was like the second one had Eddie Murphy as the host. And literally he's out there like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, guys. Like, this is such a shit show production.
Yeah, it just went off the rails.
Oof. Hollywood Reporter talks about Amazon Studios hit with Roadhouse copyright infringement lawsuit involving AI abuse claims. The lawsuit from R. Lance Hill also accuses Amazon and MGM Studios of using generative artificial intelligence, the stuff we talk about, to finish the movie, which stalled amid the actors' strike. And this is in violation of collective bargaining agreements. So,
Holy
yada,
shit.
yada, yada.
This one story, encompassed everything we talked about this entire episode. Roadhouse, AI, generative fucking AI. This is great.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Amazon MGM Studios said the lawsuit is completely without merit and that numerous allegations are categorically false. Such a lawyer word. The film does not use any AI in place of actors' voices, which is something that they had said was done, right? They said the movie, needed to get finished. The actors weren't available. They were in a time crunch, so they're being accused of using AI voices.
They say, no, 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 sir. You are wrong.
You are wrong, sir. So we'll see what happens. But I just love that every week there's another problem with this Roadhouse remake. And I'm never going to see it, but I just like talking about it.
Didn't the director go scorched earth? He come out like, yeah, we did that. Sure. What the fuck do I care? They're putting this in movies. Fuck you.
Oh, Gyllenhaal was all on fire too? Like everybody's mad.
Yeah.
Here's what I just put in here because I didn't know that this human being existed. The Watchers. Ishana Night Shyamalan's horror movie moves to Father's Day weekend. Have you heard of Ishana Night Shyamalan?
Nope. I bet you she's related to M. Night Shyamalan.
You got it, man. How'd you know that? How did you know?
It's not exactly Smith.
The featured directorial debut of M. Night Shyamalan's daughter sparked a bidding war, resulting in New Line snapping it up. Pick is based on the 2021 gothic horror novel by A.M. Shine and follows Mina, played by Dakota Fanning, a 28-year-old artist who gets stranded in an expansive, untouched forest in Western Ireland. There's a setting. There's a setting that hasn't been used yet.
Hasn't been done.
Well, congratulations. We got another M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, do you think she could have like a Shyamalan twist there at the end where you think it's going one way and then she spins it on you?
Zing! I don't know. I don't like M. Night, so I don't need any more of M. Night's spawn making movies I don't like. Never been able to get into his movies. Remember he did that Airbender movie?
Yeah, they shot it here in town.
Yeah. I watched some of the new version on
Airbender
Netflix.
Series?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No good?
Oh, it's all CGI. It's all terrible.
I heard so many people like excited about it. This is the first I'm hearing anything about it.
I actually watched like 3 episodes and I was just like, why am I doing this to myself? I got things to do.
I'm kind of that way with the new Bad Batch season. Bad Batch season 3's out, I think. 4 episodes in. I just don't care yet.
Yeah, that sucks because I know you're a fan of that.
Yeah.
All right. And the last story I got here comes from Empire. The Crow remake unveils first image of the new actor playing the Crow. You know who it is?
No, would you want to do that though?
Well, it's Bill Skarsgård, the guy who played Pennywise.
Yeah.
Would he want to do it? Probably. Like he needs something bigger to get out of that Pennywise thing. So I could see him taking this role. But I'm looking at the picture of him as the Crow. It's terrible.
Yeah.
This isn't the Crow we used to have with the long hair and looking cool. This looks more like the Joker in black and white.
Yeah. I couldn't see him making a good Crow the way we knew the Crow. I feel like that's almost like a cursed role. But I mean, I guess somebody came in and filled the place of Brandon Lee after he passed away.
Oh, yeah, there was a Crow sequel.
There was a Crow 2, City of Angels.
That's right. Didn't make the list we talked about.
Should have.
You know what? Let's go back and redo the entire segment. And this time I'll add it in. Do you have some time? You don't have any more time?
We don't need one more movie on the list.
It's already 8:30 p.m. You got another couple hours?
I'm yawning over here, dude.
All right. Well, lucky for you, that is the last story. We are all done.
All right. Everybody, thanks for listening here on this fake day of February 29th. Thanks for spending your made-up time here with us.
Roadhouse.